Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you from the beautiful Carpathian Basin. I hope everybody is having a great week so far, being happy and being healthy. Hi Kawal, hi Sanjeet, hi Amanpreet Hardik, and welcome our member Carolina. Students, we are focusing on IELTS Speaking Part 1. And we're going to talk about Band 9 requirements and practice for those Band 9 requirements. Welcome, David and Nikhil. This lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Definitely visit us there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. On both of our websites, we have lots and lots of help for you to prepare for your exam, improve your English, your grammar, your vocabulary, and your communication skills. Yeah, Barendra, you should have access to those. Barendra, send me an email, okay? Anybody who has a question, the best way to get an answer is send me an email with your IELTS questions or English questions. Or questions about our products to adrian@aehelp.com, and I will definitely get back to you in due time. All right, everyone. So we are looking at speaking part 1 today, and as we get going, we're focusing on what it takes to get a Band 9. Okay. Now, there's a marking sheet for this as well that you can find online. So if you ever want to figure out what the IELTS people are looking for, then just simply Google the term IELTS marking criteria for the speaking section PDF. And then you'll get this downloadable PDF that will give you lots and lots of information of how they score your speaking section. And within that, there are basically 4 main categories, okay? So there's fluency, or I should say coherence and fluency, okay? Grammatical range and accuracy, lexical resource, and pronunciation. Now, I want to talk a little bit about each one of these, just a little bit, before we get in into today's practice speaking questions, okay? David says, I've got the descriptions right here. Yeah, so you can find out what they're looking for Band 6 and Band 5. Now, this is a little bit unclear. So that sheet has a lot of information that you get from the internet, but it's a little bit unclear of what this actually is. And in my opinion, they could make this a little bit clearer and design it in a more elegant way so that students really understand it. Coherence and fluency, the reason they're grouped together is because if you're not fluent, you're not coherent. Okay. All right, but I don't think it's a good idea to group these, okay? So in my opinion, it's a good idea to think about coherence, especially coherence, as a unique category. What does coherence mean? So what is the meaning of coherence? It's a very good question to think about when you're practicing for your speaking and for your writing section. So what does it mean to be coherent? Abhishek says structured answer, flow of the answer, connecting answers, give appropriate answers. There's kind of a collocation for this as well. It's a 4-letter word. followed by another 4-letter word. The first one starts with an M. The second one starts with an S. What are we looking at here? So this is what it really means to be coherent. Okay. So, yeah, very good, Naeem. Naeem Syed says it means to make sense. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. To make sense. So if you ask a lot of people, what does it mean to be coherent? You'll commonly get the answer to make sense. Sorry, that was a 5-letter word for the second one, but thank you, Naeem. You're correct. Okay, so yeah, there you go. A lot of you got that. Of course, the opposite of coherence is incoherence or incoherent. Okay, which means to not make sense. Now, when you visualize a person who is incoherent, what do you see? Okay, just follow with me here. You'll get the logic to my madness. So when you think about a person who does not make sense in your own language and you visualize that person, what do people often see? There's kind of a typical image of an incoherent person. There's a couple images. Okay, so what do you see when you see an incoherent person? All right. What I see is, Carolina says, somebody who's repeating the same words, going off topic, distracted. Visually, okay, I actually see a boxer who took a really hard punch and is talking about their favorite teddy bear to the ref. Okay. So that's kind of what you see when you see an incoherent person, I think. It's, you know, when we have that image, when somebody takes a hit, it's just kind of a sad picture to be true, but we see that when they're like, and my teddy bear gave me a hug, and I really like orange juice, and they become incoherent because their brain is really mixed up. Okay, it doesn't make sense. Referee, right? So that's when somebody's incoherent. Okay, so what you want to be in the IELTS, and this is the most important point, it's far more important than vocabulary, it's far more important than pronunciation, it's far more important than grammatical range and accuracy, is to be coherent. If you're not coherent, the rest of it does not matter. So it doesn't matter what kind of grammar you're using. It doesn't matter what kind of words you're using or how clearly you're pronouncing the words. If you're not coherent, you will get a low mark. That's just it, okay? You can speak really fast, but if you don't make sense at all, you're not going to get a good mark, okay? So absolutely, Ois. The most important point is to deliver the information to the question that you're being asked very clearly, okay? So always think about coherence and always focus on that firstly, all right? And then, of course, work on fluency. So once you have coherent answers, then worry about speaking faster, okay? All right? Grammatical range and accuracy. Again, it's one of those kind of criteria that's a bit confusing because students think, oh, I need to use a lot of different kinds of grammar: passive, active, present perfect, past perfect, conditionals, and they don't worry enough about accuracy, okay? But again, I think this is where IELTS could be a little bit clear and separate these two into grammatical accuracy and grammatical range, okay? And grammatical accuracy is how clear and precise your grammar is, so you're not making mistakes in your grammar, okay? So grammatical accuracy means the correct use of grammar technically and in context. Okay, so you shouldn't just use a present perfect or a past perfect just to use it. Okay, you should use it when it's needed, and you should use it clearly. Okay, if you're not able to use grammar accurately, then make sure to focus on using simpler grammar that you can use accurately. Okay, so candidates that use, let's say, simpler grammar accurately will score better than those who try to use complex grammar but do so incorrectly. Okay, keep that in mind. Again, that's one of those points that a lot of students forget. Okay, so it's another really important point. I'm doing great today, Eugen. Thank you for asking. Thank you for the emojis. Okay, so grammatical accuracy is really fast. Okay, or really fast, really important. Which brings me to my next point: lexical resource. Okay. So lexical resource is another interesting one because a lot of students think that candidates think that they have to use these really fancy words that are rare and that are used by professors and academics in order to get a high band score. But again, that's confusing, okay? So for lexical resource, importantly, you have to choose the right word for the context. It does not need to be some very unique and impressive word. We often see these comments on our YouTube channel where students are like, oh, I don't think she could get a band 9 because she's using simple everyday words. Absolutely not true. You can get a band 9 using relatively simple everyday words as long as you're using them clearly and accurately in context. Okay? There are only so many words that you can use in the 12 minutes anyway. The bigger problem is when students try to use these fancy words and they're out of context, they're awkward and unnatural. Okay? So the bigger problem than using common words in the interview happens when candidates use rare words strangely. Okay? All right? So keep that one in mind. These are the big ones. These are the ones that we see. We see answers and responses from thousands and thousands of students every day. Okay? Anas, if you ask the examiner to repeat the question, especially if you missed it because you're nervous, you're not paying attention, does not necessarily lower your band score, especially if you give a good answer after. Okay? All right? Unknown Egghead, congratulations. That's fantastic. Band 7.5 overall is fantastic. Okay? All right. Okay, so you can definitely do that. Now, pronunciation is another one where students have this weird belief that they need to pronounce words exactly like a native speaker to get a high band score or a band 9. Again, that's not necessarily true, okay? You just need to pronounce words clearly. Again, remember, English has a lot of different accents: British, Canadian, American, Irish, etc. So there is no standard. You don't have to speak some pure form of native English with that pronunciation. You can absolutely have an accent. It's okay. It's just if you don't pronounce the words clearly enough that someone can understand them. That's when problems happen. Okay? So pronunciation is actually kind of the least important. Okay? This only matters if the words are not clear for the examiner. So if the examiner doesn't understand, if they're like, huh, what are you saying? Yeah, then you'll lose marks. But as long as they understand what you're saying, you don't lose marks. Okay? All right. So keep these in mind. These are the common kind of points that students miss even when they're looking at that marking sheet speaking PDF, is they don't really understand what it means coherence. Coherence means to make sense, okay? It means that you're answering the question specifically, accurately, it makes clear sense, and you're accurate. What is important to be coherent? So let's ask that, and then we'll get into some questions. So what is important to be coherent? That's a really good question to ask. Of course you need some words. Of course you need some grammar. Of course you need some pronunciation. But what else is important? And a few of you already kind of answered this. So what is important to be coherent? That is a really important question. So what is important to be coherent in your speaking? Okay, Awazbek says to link words and ideas, Awazbek. It's more important, Awazbek, to link ideas rather than words, okay? To link ideas together smoothly. Yeah, I agree. Linking ideas creates more coherent language. We do that with conjunctions, right? This can be done effectively with conjunctions, linking words, okay, correlative, subordinating conjunctions, okay. Seni says to answer specifically on the topic. Natalie says to not go off topic. Yeah, both of those. Yeah. Roshni says to give details. Absolutely. Jun, thank you so much. Awesome. From Korea. Thank you, Jun. That's very kind of you to give that super chat donation. I appreciate that. All right. So to not go off topic. Yep, that's good. To listen. Yeah, Barendra says to listen carefully for the question. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Roshni says to give details. Yeah. So to give details. And what I keep saying, quantitative information. Okay. I keep voicing and repeating that because that's so important. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Kishmat says pronounce clearly in Flume. We mentioned that. You're right, Kishmat. All right. Okay, so those are some really important ideas to be coherent. Also, of course, to give a smooth example, right? Okay. So let's get into this. Let's practice this. All right. So we're going to do a practice interview, speaking part 1, and we're going to focus mostly on being coherent. I don't want you to worry about using fancy words. I don't even want you to worry about using fancy grammar. I just want you to think about answers, explanations, examples, stay on topic, use numbers to help support your explanations and examples, and be as coherent as possible. Okay, so that's what we're focusing on today, is being coherent. All right, so you go into your IELTS speaking interview. You're met by the examiner, and the examiner will say, hi, welcome to the speaking part of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test, and I will record this for marking purposes. May I see your identification, please? So that will be the first question. Most likely they will want to see your identification. They might introduce themselves and you might introduce yourself first, but the first question will be, or the first 1 or 2 questions will be, may I see your identification? So Mohammed says, yes, here's my passport that I used to register for the exam. Please have a look. Carolina says, yes, of course, here's my passport that I used to register for this exam. Please have a look. Very similar to Mohammed Izzat's. Yeah, and they're both very good. Okay. Kishmat, good luck on your speaking test tomorrow. Nick Hill says, certainly, here's my passport that I used to register for this exam. Please have a look. Nick Hill, for this exam. Don't forget that for. Naman, lots of reading, lots of speaking practice, and you'll definitely improve your thinking. Lots of feedback. Okay. Rajveer says, yes, certainly, here's my passport that I used to register for the exam. Please have a look. Yeah, a lot of you are using a similar kind of response here. Yes, of course. Here is the identification that I used during registration. Please take a look. Okay, and then you hand them the passport. So right away you're showing coherence. Right away you're showing fluency, and you are reflecting that you know what is expected. Okay. All right, next question. Let's move along here. What is your full name? Give me a nice answer for this one. So what is your full name? And if I don't catch your answer to one question, just keep answering. I'll try to get different students at different times. Okay. Okay, Hardik says, my full name is Hardik Staria. Please call me Hardik. Not please call me as Hardik in brief. It's not brief. Hardik is your name. So just please call me Hardik. Okay? Not as in brief. That's awkward, right? Sammy says, my full name is Siva Sankar and my surname is Pulvarthi. Please call me by my nickname, Sammy. Okay, Sammy, that works, yeah. Nishant says, my given name is Nishant and my family name is Karn. Please call me Nishant. Okay, Nishant isn't short for Nishant. It's just Nishant. Okay, if I would call you Nish, then that would be short for Nishant. Okay, all right. Nikhil Paste says, my full name is Nikhil Paste. Please just call me Nikhil. Yeah, please refer to me by my first name, Nikhil, or please refer to me by my given name, right? So my full name is Karen Weir. Please call me by my given name, Karen. All right, I'm just making it up. It's not my name, but I always want to give you some different examples to keep it interesting. So again, students, this is speaking, so make sure to speak and repeat. Okay, speak and repeat. Okay. What is your full name? My full name is Karen Weir. Please call me by my given name, Karen. Right? Which automatically means that the family name is Weir in this case. Okay. All right. And then the examiner will likely say, okay, Karen, I will ask you a few more questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic for part 1. Where do you live, Karen? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Where do you live, Karen? Okay. Carolina says, I reside in a 2-bedroom apartment on the 2nd floor of a 12-story building, which is situated next to downtown Buenos Aires. Very nice, Carolina. Fluently, clearly, quickly. That's a band 9 answer. Okay. Good details, good quantitative information. All right. Mohammed, is that careful with your be verb? ing always needs be in the progressive form. I am living in Egypt with my family in a big flat with 3 rooms, 2 bathrooms, a kitchen, and a balcony overlooking a nice garden called Ariam. Yeah, okay, overlooking is one word. Okay. Pachu says, my name is Pachu Ray Yadav. Please just call me by my first name, Pachu. Pachu, that's really good for the previous question. Maksud says, I live in the heart of Tashkent, which is the capital of Uzbekistan, in a 2-story house with my lovely family. Very good, Maksud. Just careful with those the articles here. The heart of, the capital of, okay? Because it's unique in both cases. So we emphasize that, all right? Checo Paul says, I live in Cherthala Alapuza. Okay, where? Okay, give me a little bit more detail so I can give you a higher band score. This question is a good example for coherence, because if I say, for example, I live in Hungary, okay, or let's go with my permanent home, I live in Canada. Okay, where do you live? I live in Canada. That's a big country. That's like saying I live in Europe. Okay, so that's not a lot of coherence. Okay, but if I say I live in Victoria, Canada, which is the capital city of the province of British Columbia, okay, now I've got a lot more coherence. So now a person who's listening to my answer has a much more specific and clear idea of where I live, right? So I live in Victoria, Canada, which is the capital city of the province of British Columbia, okay? Now watch how I can make that even more specific. So I live there in the district of Saanich with my lovely wife and daughter in a 2-bedroom apartment on the 3rd floor. Okay, now I've got a lot of coherence. So now my listener has a very clear idea of where I live and even who I live with, okay? So I live in Victoria, Canada, which is the capital city of the province of British Columbia. I live there in the district of Saanich with my lovely wife and daughter in a 2-bedroom apartment on the 3rd floor. Okay? Coherent. Yeah, very coherent. You can literally type that into Google Maps and maybe even find my exact location. Okay? So that's what you're going for. When you're thinking about coherence, think about, have I made my answer specific enough, and is it visual? Is it visibly clear for my audience? Okay. Next question. What do you like about your home? Again, this is speaking, students, so typing is good, but make sure to speak as well. Okay. All right, Aman Verk says, I live in Samana, which is a small town in the district of Patiala. I live there with my parents and 2 siblings in a 3-bedroom apartment with an attached bathroom and a courtyard. Aman, that's very good. That's very specific. I like it. Okay. All right, let's get to this question. So what do you like about your home? Okay, for that question, Roshni says, well, I'm obsessed with the custom living room because it is comfortable and spacious so that I can decompress for an hour on a brown couch, on my favorite brown couch after a tough day at the office or studying for several hours. Okay, good, Roshni. So I have a visual picture of your favorite brown couch in your living room where you're going, that was a tough day. I'm relaxing. I love this room. Okay, Roshni, good. That's the type of coherent information that the examiners are looking for. Okay, absolutely. Now you're on the right track. Okay. Moria says, I love the aesthetic of my home. It's contemporary with different types of lighting and lots of plants like areca palm, money plant, and turtle vine, to name a few. It's peaceful and timeless. Timeless contemporary. Careful with that. Timeless contemporary and the same idea. A little bit confusing, Moria. So, Moria, remember what I said, right? Don't use too many tricky words or rare words, because you can get into a situation where it becomes difficult to visualize and to be coherent. So Moria, for me, that answer, although it seems really good right off the bat, actually becomes a little bit incoherent. So you say, I love the aesthetic of my home. It's contemporary with different lighting or different types of lighting. Okay, and then at this end, you say it's serene and timeless. There's some conflicting ideas there for me. Okay, if I think of a timeless type of home, I think of more of a Victorian style home that's somewhat stuck in the past, but still aesthetically pleasant in the present. Okay, so I don't know. Okay, I don't know. It's a little bit off for me. Okay, so again, it's better to choose simple words and not overcomplicate. All right. Beckjohn says, I'm fascinated with the location of my home because it is situated in a quiet area on the edge of the city. Beckjohn, fascinated is not used correctly there. Okay. So I'm happy with the location of my home because it's situated in a quiet area on the edge of, name the city, okay, whatever city is, on the city. So it's easy for me to study and to sleep at night. In fact, I never hear the ambulance or sirens when I get my 8 hours of sleep. Okay, Beckjohn? So think about those examples. Think about being more coherent. Answer, explain, example. Okay. Kishmat says, I love the balcony of my home because of the mountain views and it's nice to wake up in the morning and see those snow-capped peaks while having my cup of coffee. Okay, Kismat, again, good start. You love the balcony of your house because of the mountain views. Mountain sight and natural views, it's kind of the same, okay? Spectacular view, again, it's kind of the same. So you have a lot of repetition there. And students, when you start repeating the same idea, it can actually lead to incoherence. Okay, so if a person says the same idea again and again, sometimes the listener starts to get confused, like, okay, you've said that like 3 times, but now I'm not really sure what you're trying to tell me. So repetition can be kind of dangerous for coherence. Okay, so I love that my home is situated close to downtown with lots of amenities within 5 minutes walking distance, so I don't need to waste a lot of time driving. I just went to the gym this morning and it's literally 2 doors away from my apartment. Okay, so here's my response, just to sample again. Pay attention to the coherence, okay, and visual information. Humans are very visual. We love to see the world around us. That's why we love visual information. That's why we love our phones, our TVs, our tablets. We love to travel. We love to see the beauty of nature, the beauty of civilization, technology, because we're visual. Okay, so here we go. Repeat after me. What do you like about your home? I love that my home is situated close to downtown with lots of amenities within 5 minutes walking distance. Notice the quantitative language, 5 minutes walking distance. So I don't need to waste a lot of time driving. I just went to the gym this morning and it's literally 2 doors away from my apartment. Okay, so I go downstairs, 1 door, 2 door, there's the gym, boom, I'm working out. Fantastic, I love it. I don't have to waste time driving my car all over the place. Okay? And by the way, I just made that up. It's only half true. All right? Okay, so you are now moving along. Again, students, try to stay focused. This is speaking. So far, this class has only been about 2.5 times the length of an actual speaking interview. So stay focused, speak and repeat. Okay? All right. The examiner at this point might say, okay, let's talk about toys. How often do you buy a toy? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So, how often do you buy a toy? Okay. Ois says, I purchase toys for my kids on different occasions, about 15 times a year. Just 2 days ago, I purchased a Halloween costume and some toys for my kids. Ois, that's a really nice answer. I love how you paraphrased buy for purchase. I would love to hear what the Halloween costume is. Okay, I'm visual, and I'm trying to visualize your cute little ones wearing their Halloween costumes. Of course, Halloween is coming up this Saturday. And what are they dressed up as, right? So, minions, maybe? Or if you have daughters, maybe dressed up as Elsa and Anna from Frozen. So let me visualize. I want to see what your kids are dressed as, right? The more visual information, the more coherence, the more points. Okay. Kevin, he says, I rarely purchase a toy because I'm not as interested in these types of items as I used to be. Having said so, about twice per year, I go to a toy store and get some stuffed animals as gifts for my little cousins for their birthdays. Last June, I got a 50-inch stuffed bear for my cousin Tom. Okay, Kevin? So, again, finish with that smooth flowing example. Good vocabulary, Kevin. Good grammar. Just make it even more visible. Okay? Jaineel says, nowadays I don't purchase toys because I'm more mature. And the days I played with toys are in the past. I vividly remember a time when I bought a Lego spacecraft set when I was 8 years old. Okay, Jaineel, I like your smooth example of the Lego spacecraft set when you were 8 years old. So that memory of that toy, that's beautiful. Again, Jaineel, you don't need the grammar of the past perfect here. Here, you need adverb of fluency, often, rarely, sometimes, never, and you need quantitative language. So, I buy toys all the time, like 4 to 5 times a week, because I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I love spoiling her. I want to get her all the toys that I had wanted as a child. Just this last week, I bought her a tiny electric BMW M6 or X6 that she can drive around in the backyard. Okay, all right. So here we go. Answer, explain, example. Okay, using quantitative language. How often do you buy a toy? Again, speak and repeat. Oh, I buy toys all the time, like 4 to 5 times a week, because I have a 4-year-old daughter and I love spoiling her. I want to get her all the toys that I had wanted as a child. Just this last week, I bought her a tiny electric BMW X6 that she can drive around the backyard. All right. Here we go. So Kush Bakt is asking, can we change the topic? No, you can't. So if the examiner says, let's talk about toys, and they ask you some questions about toys, you can't be like, I'm an adult, I'm not interested, it doesn't matter for me, I don't want to talk about toys. Too bad. That's the topic. Be interested. You have to talk about it. This is not for fun. It's not for excitement. It's not to discuss a topic that you may or may not be interested in. It's an exam for English proficiency. You're there to show your proficiency. Focus on that, okay? This is just the tool, this topic, okay? It's not the goal, all right? So the next question, keep that in mind. It's very important. Keep your goal in mind, okay? The next question, where is a good place to buy toys? Where is a good place to buy toys? All right, Romaine, I think that's for the previous one. So Romaine says, whenever I visit my friends, I make an effort to bring a new toy with me for their children. That happens at least once a month, which results in some spending. Last week, I bought a video game for one of them. Okay, Romaine, that's good. Careful with word choice there. Naeem is asking, is it okay to lie? Absolutely. It's not a lie on the IELTS. You're always speaking the truth because the truth is your English proficiency. So everyone, keep that in mind. You're not lying on the IELTS because the IELTS is an exam. There is no truth on the IELTS. It's just a believable, sensible idea that you're saying to get a good band score. Okay, so there is no such thing as lying on the exam. All right? No changing the topics and no lying. Doesn't exist. Okay? David says the best place to buy toys is at Toy Lots, a store situated in the downtown of my city. They have not only a good variety, but also good quality of toys. Apart from that, people are allowed to try the toys. Every time I go there, I play with the footballs. Not football balls, David, just footballs. Okay, that is a football. It's a football. That's why it's the game. Everything is named after the ball. So it's a football, the player, the footballer, the football stadium. It's all named after the ball, the football. Okay, why? Because it's a ball you kick with your feet. So that's the name of the ball. Okay, I know it's an easy mistake to make, David, to think that it's called a football ball, but it's just a football, like a basketball, okay, or a volleyball. All right. Okay. Seni Surani says, Toy City or Hoya are excellent stores for choosing toys for kids since they provide the most complete collection in my area at competitive prices. Okay, and then give me an example. Okay, you're on the right track, Seni. Give me an example. All right, finish that off with a smooth example. Saveyi says, when I was a child, my father used to buy toys for me, so I had a range of toys, but some of them are broken, and some of my favorite ones I still have. Okay, Saveyi, you're off topic, so it's incoherent. Okay, it doesn't make sense. The question here is, where's a good place to buy toys? Okay. All right. Kirill says, I have a beautiful shop in my district. I used to buy toys there when I was a child. There's a large selection of toys in different costumes. My little brother really likes it. What's the name of the store? Okay, always give the name. Students, always give the name, especially for a question like this. Rajveer says, people can both buy toys online and offline. Individuals can purchase toys from First Cry at Amazon when they opt for online shopping, or buy them from Reliance Trend. Okay, Rajveer, pay attention to good place, right? You have to answer that to be coherent. Why is the place good? Because they have quality toys, because they have toys for good prices, they have a good selection of toys. So why is it a good place to buy toys? Now, one of the biggest toy businesses that you'll come across in Canada and the US is called Toys R Us. One of the best physical locations to purchase toys is Toys R Us. You'll see it's kind of has this interesting logo. Toys R Us, where they have a huge selection for all ages at relatively competitive prices. And they have an excellent customer satisfaction guarantee. Okay, I bought a doll there for my nephew last month. He didn't like the color, so I took it back, and they had no problem exchanging it for another one. Okay, all right. So here we go. Repeat after me. Where is a good place to buy toys? One of the best physical locations to purchase toys is Toys R Us, where they have a huge selection for all ages at relatively competitive prices. And they have an excellent customer satisfaction guarantee. I bought a doll there for my nephew last month, and he didn't like the color, so I took it back, and they had no problem exchanging it for another one. Now, for boys, because it's my nephew, we usually don't say doll, which is interesting, even though it's accurate, but we often say action figure. Okay, so if it's like a Spider-Man or something, it's still a doll, but it's an action figure. Okay. Z says there's a shop named Kushi Stores about 10 minutes away from my home and has a variety of toys which will definitely make kids happy. Z, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. Okay, let's do one more here, students. Let's do this one. I'd love to see your answers for this. I'd love to hear your answers, but unfortunately 200 people talking at the same time wouldn't work, so we only have the type chat. Here we go. What was your favorite childhood toy and why? Why it's in brackets? Because they will only ask you that if you don't give the answer. So what was your favorite childhood toy and why? Sandeep Reddy says, if I recall, the toy which I loved most during my childhood was a toy gun. I felt like I was a police officer if I had it in my hand. Okay, Sandeep, so a little toy gun. Yeah. Sammy says, my childhood toy, which I remember throughout my life, is a train, which was gifted to me by my dad on my 3rd birthday. I still remember that celebration. Mahdi Gamer says, AK-47 is my childhood toy. You can tell why the gun is your toy because I grew up playing first-person shooter video games since my childhood. Okay, Mahdi Gamer, confusing. Okay, a replica AK-47 is my favorite childhood toy. I had this toy for a long time because I grew up playing first-person shooter games since I was a child, and this was a part of my imaginary world. Okay, so Mahdi Gamer, don't switch to you. Okay, it's I. It's always about you. It's not about me. My favorite toy was definitely not an AK-47, so you cannot switch to the second-person voice you. Okay. Vikas Verma says, my most favorite childhood toy was my remote control car because it was given to me by my father, and it gave me a strong feeling that I can drive a car even as a young child. Fantastic. My absolute favorite toy when I was just a little guy, around 8 years old, was a robot dinosaur. It had a red and metallic color and could move around with some batteries. I had this toy for many years until my father sold it at a garage sale. All right. So, favorite childhood toy, why not let it be a robot and a dinosaur? There we go. Okay. Repeat after me. What was your favorite childhood toy? My absolute favorite toy when I was just a little guy, around 8 years old, was a robot dinosaur. It had a red and metallic color and could move around with some batteries. I had this toy for many years until my father sold it at a garage sale. I was sad to see that toy go. All right. Sabir Hussein says, well, when I was a child, I loved playing with a remote control car and drone. Beside that, I also played with a toy gun with my friends. Still now, I prefer to buy a car or a gun as a gift. I think it's G-U-N, gun, that you're looking for there, Sabir. Okay, yeah, little boy toys, guns, cars, and drones. That makes sense. Natalie, let me see if I can catch what you wrote beforehand. There it is. So Natalie says, my favorite childhood toy definitely was a teddy bear of bright green color with a dotted bow tie. I still have it today, and my daughter plays with it. I saw that, Natalie, what you wrote later. Very good. Okay, excellent. So little teddy bear with a dotted bow tie, not tie bow, bow tie, other way around. Okay, all right. So, Raghav, let's see what you wrote. If I can find it. I can't find it, Raghav, so next time I'll catch it. I've got a lot of great answers here, and I'm skimming through them as fast as I can, but I can't locate yours, okay? All right, next time. That could be the follow-up question, by the way. Natalie, I see that you answered that question, the do you still have this toy? If not, what happened to it? Try to answer that one, students. So do you still have this toy? If not, what happened to it? Okay, and I've answered it in my question. My dad sold it at a garage sale. So maybe, Raghav, you can repeat your answer here, and then I can read it. So, do you still have this toy? If not, what happened to it? Okay. So, Mahdi Gamer says, I don't have this AK-47 in real life, but I have this in my video game, which is PUBG, because I'm now 18 plus, and matured guys don't really play with toys. Mahdi, sure. Now, when you're asked a question like this, students, don't overcomplicate it. So, again, don't go off topic. So talk about your childhood toy. We're not asking about your adulthood toy. There are lots of toys for adults as well. Okay, so nowadays it's common to have toys throughout our entire life. And here the question is focusing on childhood toys. So stay on topic. Okay, stay on topic. Okay. Oh, it says, yes, I kept some of my toys. My battery-powered car and my Spider-Man, and I always saved them for my kids, and I told them to keep their toys for a long time. Oh, it's a little bit confusing on the grammar, so think about rewording and rewriting. Okay. All right. Javed Khan says, yes, I'm still in possession. Very nice paraphrasing. Javed. So Javed says, yes, I am still in possession of the toy, and I take it out sometimes when I'm feeling nostalgic. Very nice answer, Javed. Okay, so this is what Javed said, and it was a really nice answer. I'm going to use your answer, Javed, but I'm going to word it a little bit differently because I don't have it anymore. No, I don't have that exact toy anymore. But I did buy another one just like it on eBay. And I take it out when I'm feeling nostalgic. Okay, nostalgic means desiring to bring back memories of childhood. Now, as I just said, I don't have that exact toy anymore, but I did buy another one just like it on eBay, and I take it out when I'm feeling nostalgic. Okay, so I hope that many of you still have your favorite childhood toys, because that's always a great feeling. And I hope that you are all studying your IELTS speaking regularly. Students, you can practice your speaking on our websites. I'm going to show you that right now before we wrap up this class. So on our websites, aehelp.com, you can join our websites by clicking the big red button to get the premium package, or you can get the free version, the free access, by clicking the try demo. And then you can access the My Student account. Of course, we have an app, and you can access it there. And then in your My Student account, you have Student Partner Speaking. Okay. When you click on that Student Partner Speaking button, then you will be able to connect with other students to practice your speaking one-on-one. Okay, so right now you can see that we have, and you can do video chat and audio chat. So right now we have Rafa, Gere, Sanjita, Carolina, Mohammed. So we have a few people in here in the chat waiting to connect with people. So make sure that you use that, okay? It's free, and you have that on aehelp.com, and you have that on our general website as well, gieltshelp.com. So you just join up, go into your My Student account, and then you can use the speaking options to speak with other students in real time, face to face. Just make sure that you're polite with everyone that you come in contact with. I see that many people are doing their speaking exams today, tomorrow, over the next couple days, so good luck with that. And I will be back tomorrow with a couple more live lessons. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Sweet dreams to all of you if it's getting late in your country. Shub Sharat, send me an email. Let me know what you're experiencing. That's it for now. I'm Adrian, signing out from the Carpathian Basin. Bye.